This week on BlazerTag, where's Dame? Where's Swanigan? Who is Terry Stotts again?
Where's Dame's shirt?
Touche. Go
Dame
Blazers.
doesn't need a
Go
shirt.
Blazers.
And we are live, kind of. I mean, you're probably listening to this tomorrow. Tomorrow's, what, Wednesday now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
tomorrow's
Oh, man, and we are
Christmas kinda
recording.
throws.
Yeah. So we're recording a day late for those of you on audio or video. And if you notice, while we lost the hair, we gained the hair. Aaron hanging out here with us today. Welcome to the party.
Welcome,
no problem.
welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Brandon couldn't make it. Christmas, family, too much alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't
he got
remember.
snowed in.
Oh, yeah, there was snow once, right?
Yeah. It's Snowpocalypse 2017 again.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah. 8.5 inch of snow and the city shuts down.
Oh, man.
Pansy drivers.
I had so many people. We were hosting Christmas this year. I had a whole bunch of people the day before texting, like, we might not be able to make it with all this wild weather. Okay.
We can barely drive when it rains here. We just lose our minds when it snows.
Yeah, so
Well-
as soon as it started, like on Christmas Eve, because we were supposed to go over to my godmom's house because she was hosting. As soon as it started, I'm like, oh, do I need to go to the storage unit and get the snow tires? No, I'll hold off and see how it does. And then about like 2 o'clock when it slowly started melting away, I was like, no, I don't need to go. We're fine. Didn't look out the window again until about 4:30, an hour before we go. I was like, and I really should have went and got those fucking tires.
Hey, though, in your defense, I really probably shouldn't have given you those tires for free a year ago.
Oh, I'm still loving that. That's fantastic.
The worst part is they would have gone on the car that wound up slipping on ice and needing to replace an axle. So, sorry,
Good choice
Christine.
there.
All because he didn't want to move them.
Well, yeah, it was because I moved, didn't want to move them, and also the second part was we've used them on 2 or 3 seasons. Realistically, they only have one good season left, but if you're changing them on and off yourself, like a certain guy who's not me, because hell no,
There's people for that.
yeah, it's a bit of a hassle to drive out to the Les Schwab and, hey guys, you want to put on my tires? Cool, and then have them take them back off a day later, 2 days later. Just leave them on for 3 months, and they weren't going to live that. But you'll probably stretch them out for 3-4 years, I would bet.
I mean, I'd go into Les Schwab just because of the popcorn. I love their popcorn. I've actually been hungry and wanting popcorn and not had any at home, and stopped off at a Les Schwab and just been like, oh, I'm just looking for tires. Popcorn machine, grab a bag, walk out.
That is,
That's gaming the system right
yeah,
there.
I mean, I feel like I hit high levels of cheap, and and I feel like I need to be taking notes on this.
I will teach you my ways.
Oh, boy.
So, on the note of Brandon not being here, I think he planned this out because he lost the beer bet,
Yeah.
and he's not here to pay.
He thought ahead.
Dude, should I charge interest?
Oh, man, make him bring 7 beers next week.
Well, I mean, I could have, because I told him I don't want to do half anymore so that we can equal it out monetarily, and I want the fresh squeeze. But should I make him bring the 22 of the half as well?
Oh, man.
I think I should.
I think there needs to be interest.
There needs to be some interest on it.
You
know
know
he wouldn't let us get away with it.
Well, you got a point. Speaking of beer bets, before well, I guess we can talk this week's beer bet, but I did want to also float the idea. I mean, Brandon's not here to defend himself or have a position for the beer bet. So should we do a 2-man beer bet for next week?
It would only be fair. It got a little crowded the last time that we had to withhold a beer bet payout, and we were all switching 6-packs around. Yeah, we can do a 2-man beer bet.
All right. So end of the episode, we'll throw down whatever that may be. I'll let you call it.
All right.
You're the champion. You'll get the call of the bet. I'll make the first bet.
Yeah. On the side note of I do agree to your terms, but I also want to say, so to Mr. Rob, or free throw guy,
Rob, free throw guy.
who came on last week, he is technically the legitimate winner.
That's fair.
Yeah. So our last week's beer bet, it was points plus rebounds for LaMarcus Aldridge, because I said he always plays pretty damn decent anytime he comes back to Portland.
Yep.
And so he
Got a hell of a block right toward the end.
Yeah. Shh. But so he had 30. LaMarcus did, and Rob hit it right on the nose with 30.
Nice.
Mr. Free Throw Guy.
We owe you beer.
Respect.
We owe you beer at some point. So when you
Respect
come
to you.
back, we will have beer or just 6 glasses of water for you. Your call.
Oh, man. That was funny to me because I believe the next night he drank a whole lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he kept it light with us.
Yeah. That's a man who knows how to pace.
Yeah. However, I also kudos to Free Throw Guy for putting up with the amazing 50 Shades of Grey bit we did last week. Probably still my
I missed
favorite.
last week's podcast. I'm gonna have to listen just for that.
Yeah, my wife did have one critique. She's like, "But shouldn't you be reading it to him while he's answering?" I was like, "We thought about it, but then you're just gonna get a bunch of gargled voices fighting each other on a microphone."
Yeah, and that makes for bad audio.
Yeah, so the best we could do is I cry from laughter trying to read lines to him, longingly looking into his eyes,
offering him the hood of your car.
Yeah.
All of those things. So, well, speaking of the Spurs game, we just actually rewatched that.
Yes,
it's been
we
a
did.
roller coaster of emotions for me for the last few hours because I finished Star Wars finally, last man on Earth to catch the new Star Wars.
If it makes you feel any better, I still haven't seen the version without subtitles or Chinese words. So
And this is where we just don't answer any more questions about what you just said and allow you to not implicate yourself.
Yeah.
But that said,
I was in a test audience for Tokyo.
yeah,
Of course.
great movie. Feeling pretty good. And then I was like, oh, I missed the end of that Spurs game. I know what happened, but I might as well see it.
Oh yeah, you need to experience that crushing
And
depression for yourself.
oh, the two of you came in and caught the end of that game with me here.
Yeah, I had to watch it again, and
It was highly unpleasant.
yeah.
Was second time any better than the first time?
I
No,
came in,
because
I missed
still-
the Patty Mills little scoop bucket, and that was when I knew the game was lost when Mills hit that.
See, I knew when I'd gotten texts during the game that I wasn't watching live, and
Yeah. It's ironic because I knew that CJ's shot wasn't going to go in. But still, when he released it, I was like, oh, man, you already know what happened.
Yeah.
The other thing is
Yeah.
that I got angry at Evan Turner all over again for wasting 5 seconds of clock.
That was one of the worst possessions I've ever seen. Like towards the end of the game, he just sat and he dribbled and he spun, and then who was it? Manu knocked the ball out of his hands.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
With absolutely nothing happened.
And I got to tell you, he handled that ball like a driver handled driving anywhere within a mile of his pool this last week.
They finally got it out, didn't they?
I haven't seen any of the footage. I've only been hearing. I think I saw a still. Like I didn't watch
I
the
saw a couple
video.
pictures of it, like when the truck was crashing. I haven't heard anything since.
Oh, that guy. I mean, I would say bad luck for him, but if you can afford that house, that pool.
I think it was during the Spurs game they interviewed him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, that's the sort of thing that happens to me. It's not a
Yeah,
big deal."
well, I
Like,
mean, this is his-
He was totally like, "It happens."
This is his second vehicular thing he's made the news in. There was that broken down car on the freeway over the summer or something, or tail end.
I didn't
of-
hear about
vaguely
this.
remember hearing something about
Yeah,
that.
so some lady's car broke down on the side of the freeway or something like that,
Yeah.
and Brooke Olzendam and Evan Turner were both in their cars, like leaving the practice facility, and they ended up passing her. I think she was having some sort of medical emergency. It's been a while since I read the story, but Turner sat with her, or like pulled over in his Rolls Royce, which I still think is a badass car because the doors open the other way.
Suicide.
Oh
doors.
man.
Yeah. And so he pulls over and hangs out with her until like paramedics or 911 arrives, and I think he ended up giving her like a pair of tickets. But that was only like 4 months ago that happened. Like 3 or 4 months ago. And then now it's a driver drives their truck straight into his pool, and his chef hops out and keeps the man from drowning.
Say what you want.
I'm never carpooling with Evan Turner. If I have the chance, I'm not doing it.
You don't want to ride a
listen,
ride in the
I
rolls?
watch Final Destination. Something's coming for him.
Oh man,
I'll take that
know.
risk. I want to ride in
I
the
feel like he
rolls.
earned some karma apparently on the front end, and apparently it's double owed to him now after that,
Do you think his chef gets a raise?
Oh, I think you have to do something. You have to give him a bonus or something.
or at least a plaque.
He got a
You know.
he got a $25 Red Lobster gift card for Christmas just for it.
Hey, I got a $25 Red Lobster gift card for Christmas. That's a real thing.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Are you
What?
gonna go get the crab biscuits and just
Actually, it
that's
might have
all?
been 50. There was no money written on there. But I went to Olive Garden for lunch today to blow my gift card, and it turned out what I thought was a $25 Olive Garden gift card was 50. So my wife and I went with a couple friends. Actually, my buddy who introduced me to Aaron, Cameron. Hey, I know you're not listening. What's up, buddy?
Get on it, damn it.
Anyhow, we all went, and we were like, yeah, we'll pay for it with our gift cards. And we didn't expect to have over $20 left on gift cards. And
Very
that was
nice.
after, everybody's lunch, couple drinks, some wine to enhance the Star Wars experience, which really has been
Did
necessary.
you smuggle out any breadsticks?
No, but we had a lot of breadsticks.
Oh, it doesn't matter how many you have there. You owe it. I'm the type of person. Again, I'll teach you my ways with being cheap. I'm the type of person that when they say all you can eat breadsticks, I get mad if there's
You're
two.
wrapping them up in the napkin.
I ask for the refill for the breadsticks with the check. And if
Oh,
they try to
man.
play the game of coming back over and giving me and the wife only 2 breadsticks, I'm like, I asked for the full basket refill. I want 6 breadsticks.
Like, the breadsticks are good. They're not that good. It's been a while since I've been.
Actually,
I'm a
Olive
breadstick
Garden.
whore.
and
I'm
I'm
a
gonna
breadstick whore.
and I'm gonna go ahead and actually almost side on the Aaron side. They're great breadsticks right in front of you. I've never had a good breadstick experience reheated. I swear, my the fillings inside of my mouth get activated, like chewing on a reheated Olive Garden breadstick. I don't know what it is, but I swear I get that oh god, what did I just chewed on tinfoil thing eating that piece of bread.
Olive Garden breadsticks are the only thing that doesn't do that for me. But I have one more level of cheapness for you. Has anybody also, before they've left, requested that the salad bowl be refilled and you ask for a box?
No.
I have.
Oh,
I
they
have.
offered me. I had 3/4 of a soup. They offered me to pack up my soup to go, and I just couldn't do it.
See, this is why me and the
I
wife get
never
along.
could, no.
I'm not a soup guy, so if you go there and it's the unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks, she will soup the hell out of it. Salad and breadsticks, that's all me. And yes, I'm taking it to go. Damn it.
Jeez. I don't even send food back. I don't think I've ever sent anything back. I couldn't bring myself to ask for salad.
I've
to
sent
go.
food back. I'm a jerk.
I have a very high bar to cross in order for me to send it back, but that's only because I've worked in kitchens before.
Oh, okay. There
And
you go.
so it's kind of like I know that there needs to be a minimum standard of fuck-uppery
Exactly.
before a chef won't hate you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If there's a reason, that's always kind of been my thing. And also, I'm a big fan of never go back if they don't comp you appropriately when they really screw up. You know, like the time I went out to what used to be called Sherry's, we call it Harry's now, and there was a very long, thick, curly hair resting on the top of my friend's milkshake, and for which
On the milkshake?
on the whipped
like it was
cream
placed
of the
right on
milkshake.
top?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's-
looked. It almost looked intentional.
That'd make me question the whipped cream.
Oh.
That said, we got a free milkshake.
Well, yeah.
But it was
Better.
like that was it. And I mean, mind you, we were there having appetizers and drinks, appetizers and shakes. It was in high school, and never went back. It was like that's the end. No, you don't serve us a milkshake and say you can have that shake. We're not drinking 2/3 of that.
Has anybody ever gone to Sherry's when they're not in high school or of AARP age? I feel like that's the only people who ever go to Sherry's. Is high schoolers who have nothing to do at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night.
No. 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night.
That-
when
that's
you're an
also-
adult is either Sherry's or Denny's time.
Yeah, that's-
if the line's too long at Muchos.
Well, that's because that's where you go. You just
Yeah.
stick through the
I
line.
will
You got to
tell you,
persevere to get the mooches.
there is something about muchas and alcohol.
Oh,
It's
I
like
love
after
muchas
about
gracias.
4 to 5 beers, you just need to be at muchas for a
Either
burrito
an Oregon burrito or a chicken fajita burrito.
or a slam dunk burrito, as sponsored by Greg Oden. That was a thing.
No, there was a couple year period back where I was in my early 20s and I worked for a warehouse, and every Friday night, I'm divorced from this one at the moment, so she won't care, nor does she listen. But every Friday night, all of us husbands we had the option to get off work like 2 hours or 3 hours early. Normally we're off at 3 o'clock in the morning, so we'd get off at midnight and run up the street to the nearest strip club. Our wives never knew that we got off work early, run up to the strip club and stay up there until closing, and then at 2:30 then we'd have an hour to kill before we were technically off work, so we'd stop off at Denny's in Jansen Beach and moons over my hammy.
So tell me, so this marriage ended in divorce?
Yeah, but it's not for that.
When?
It's not for that reason.
Oh, okay.
Well, so if you were going to Denny's at Jansen Beach, which strip club are you going to? That's the real question. Don't
Well,
tell me
that
the
would be
Dancing
on
Bear.
the way home
Oh no, we were.
from all of them.
I want to say we were a lot more highbrow than Dancing Bear, but when my answer is Casa Diablo.
Okay, there you go. That'll work. That'll do.
Now, I heard a rumor about that place.
Yes, it is vegan.
Yes.
Actually, I've heard that one too. I've heard 2 rumors about that place.
Casa-
The other one was that on Tuesday nights they bring out women of the height impaired variety for Tiny Tuesdays.
Okay, that was not during the years, and this is, now that I'm thinking about it, this is a decade ago of the story that I'm telling. That is not of the years I never saw that.
All right,
I know- I
Ross.
think-
I'm Ross, my good friend Ross, who does not listen to this podcast. I'm talking to you right now. You lied to me. Anyway, moving on.
Doesn't Casa Diablo? Don't they have the $2 bills?
Yeah, and they got in trouble from the Secret Service by defacing them and like putting red marks on them.
No way.
Yeah, they did. That was a news story many years ago because
That's
they dealt in
fantastic.
only $2 bills and they'd like dye the tips of the bills red, so that it was their way of like free advertising. And
Wow.
and the Secret Service came after them for defacing a
God,
currency.
I love this town. God bless Portland.
All right, so there was the Spurs game.
Yes, and
Trying to
Yeah, I was
even
wondering how we got
remotely
there.
get on track.
because I'm
Just
sure
attempting.
LaMarcus Aldridge made a pit stop by Casa Diablo that
I'm
night.
just saying. I was talking to my father-in-law
Well, that's where
about
Dame
this
is going. He's
podcast.
vegan now.
I heard he's what is it like 80% vegan or something. He said in an interview.
Because you can't give up bacon.
I think it's that he went to one of those places like the Brazilian steakhouse or whatever where they like slice
Oh.
rib off a piece of meat and
Fogo
put
de
it.
Chao? I love that place.
He went to one in Miami, one similar to that, where
Oh.
they put it directly in your mouth, and someone recorded a video of him eating it, and hit Twitter.
Oh, I missed
That's
it.
where
week
I
or
draw
two
the
ago.
line. If people, if I'm like sitting there on my hands in a restaurant, you can carve meat off a stick in front of me, and you are the greatest human being on earth. But I don't need you to put it in my mouth for me as well.
I feel like that should be a ceremony, though. I mean, if someone is feeding me. I mean, I
You need to be on
think
a
it,
throne
isn't it
with
supposed to
people
be
waving
grapes?
giant feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I do meat
Yeah,
that way
grapes,
too. I mean, honestly, I prefer meat. Give me, just give me some good tri-tip with that.
Oh, I was
That'd
totally
be great.
hoping for some sort of soundbite out of that. Give me some good old meat.
Give me some beef. All right, so
All right.
post Spurs,
Basketball.
That was,
that's what we're talking about.
Basketball.
that's
yes.
what we're
That's what we're
pretending to talk about. That's
Brandon's not here to keep us rolled in. Gosh.
Oh,
man.
is that the role I'm supposed to be playing?
No.
Keep us on track?
No.
no, that's usually. I mean, I think I try to do that harder
Yeah,
than
he-
these two
yeah,
in general, but let's not lie. It's, I mean, between that Spurs game and that Nuggets game, and whatever happened in that Lakers game, it's not a week where I'm really excited about basketball. I'm more excited about the beer in my hand.
So while you're not excited, the last little bit about that Spurs game. So besides Evan Turner wasting 5 perfectly good seconds of clock time, Lillard injuring his hamstring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
So he got to play limping decoy, according to Stotts' game plan.
I heard that.
But you also heard other things about Lillard's hamstring because apparently you have insider info.
Now, insider info. I'm air quoting.
That's the world's biggest air quotes.
Yeah, I bumped into someone at a store a few weeks ago. So this is prior to this, who said he's been playing
from
on
the
a
future?
hurt. No, someone who the guy says, well, yeah, the entire team knows he's playing on a hurt hamstring. I don't know why they're not talking about it in public.
Interesting.
And I was kind of like, I could kind of see that because he hasn't been as explosive as in the past. But I didn't really. I mean, it's a random dude I bumped into in the store. And when I asked, oh, how do you know this? He said, well, my sister's on physical therapy staff over there. So I'm like, okay, that's a viable story. Random guy I don't know who I'm talking to in a store.
Well, so if he has been playing on his hamstring, that tracks for his injury because it was non-contact. He was up in the air, kind of flailing in the lank. He kicked his leg out, and it was before he landed. He was already grabbing for it. So if it was an overuse thing, I totally buy that.
I can't remember if I had seen something on CBS Sports or ESPN or somewhere deep in the bowels of SB Nation or something. Some of their farther down stuff gets a little questionable as far as their sports reporting, but somebody had said that Dame had been going through some hamstring issues from getting a knee in the back of the hamstring, like I want to say a month and a half, maybe a month before.
Yeah.
And he had just been playing through it, which we've all seen the games where Dame has gotten injured and we're like, oh God, they broke him. We're going to lose him for half a season. And they go to a timeout. And next thing you know, Damian Lillard's taking the inbound pass and just trucking along.
And outrunning everybody else on the court.
Exactly.
And a quick
Trying to
break
pull the
hoop.
Wesley Matthews, the Iron Man thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we come to find out, and I always find it great because we're not going to find out until the tail end of the season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things I always found the most funny about this organization. You won't hear about an exact injury right away.
Yeah,
but it comes as the excuse for why the season went sideways.
That was the Ed Davis shoulder last year.
Yep.
I'm waiting to see if his plantar fasciitis.
I was going to say,
crops up again.
or the Wesley Matthews ankle thing. Yeah.
Well, no, Lillard's has been dealing with plantar fasciitis
yeah.
for years.
And so, but Wesley Matthews, tail end of his second to last year, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Blazers got bounced, and they came out like a week after they got bounced, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's been
we got
playing."
bounced versus the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like, "He's been playing on basically a broken ankle for the last 2 months, so that's why."
Yeah.
So it's always fun to get those excuses.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to let the other guys know our weaknesses and strategies.
Strategery.
That just makes me think as though somebody in the organization has a massive gambling problem, and they don't want anybody in Vegas to know.
Man.
We're not talking Tom
So
Donahue.
is this how we're
Or
talking about the
Donahue,
reffing,
sorry.
reffing this season?
What?
Is that how we
Actually-
bring up the reffing this season?
Oh.
Actually, you know what? Let's have, before we get there, let's talk about that. But before we get to the reffing, so just because we're on the Damian Lillard conversation, All-Star voting opened up. Does Dame actually make it this year?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, I
I
was
want him to.
I was thinking one of the two of you might maybe say yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, the homer in me wants him to, but he's realistically he's not going to. If he gets in, he'll be a coach.
All you have to look
coach
at
pick.
is the amount of attention that the national media gives to any player, and as long as Oklahoma City is sucking it up, and they're going to have continuous conversations about when will the big three gel.
They've been
Russell
doing
West-
better lately. They're like
yes.
11 and 4.
The Blazers have had better runs and more impressive wins than
True.
them, but
But we never got the
no-
attention that they did.
exactly. And so the 2 years that Lillard got it was when he wasn't it his rookie year? Didn't he get the nod then?
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
selected
Yeah.
as
When-
backup.
Yeah, and so that's when he won Rookie of the Year, and then his second year was the last, Dame
the
LA
one where he did all the things
exactly,
that year. Yeah.
and he got that. And
Well, and he only got that one because Kobe got voted in as a starter, but he was out with the.
Yeah, he was injured basically
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
whole
he was-
season that
exactly.
year, and
And I think that was the same year Blake Griffin was also injured, and he got it. He was like a double alternate
Yeah.
selection,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah, but I don't, unless the national media ever legitimately pays attention to Portland.
I think that's a part of it. I would actually put some of it on the Portland Trailblazers organization.
That they don't ship out their players or sell them enough.
A little bit that, and from what I've heard, there's a lot of other local markets that as soon as All-Star voting starts, they make a shtick out of it. Like during every game, 3 or 4 times, they'll tell you, hey, go to NBA.com. You got your phone there. Vote now. Vote right now. Do it. Everyone, get on there. Here's where we're at. We're this close to getting X guy there. And the Blazers organization just kind of says, well,
They do
you
that like
could."
in arena. It's
But
like
they'll
after-
do it
after the-
lightly in arena
you get
for
it
a
twice,
second.
twice per game.
I
maybe.
wouldn't even. I don't think I've seen it more than once ever in a game. And
The
it just
I
strongest.
mean, I know the Blazers. They're pretty good about doing it on like social media, like Facebook and Twitter, things like that. But I don't see a huge push from them.
no,
Oh, yeah.
it's never until like the last week, which is when they always send out like all their gift baskets and whatnot to coaches and GMs because
Oh, yeah.
they're like, we're not gonna get the fan vote. They had a strong hope when Kobe dropped out that China would pick a new favorite. Pretty sure China's new favorite is Steph Curry. So
well, maybe CJ McCollum. I mean, he keeps pushing their shoes. So
yeah, this is
That's
true.
right. He signed with Nee Ling.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum, the new face of Chinese
I'm
shoes.
glad you remembered it because I keep wanting to call it. What is it?
It's Nee Ling. I think.
Okay, I keep wanting to call if it's not, I want to flip those first 2 letters on it whenever I say it.
We're gonna have to
Leaning.
We're gonna have to
All
consult
right,
the
all right.
consult
I'm
the
gonna-
age
glowing
old
rectangle.
all right, you two move on to that Denver game. I'm gonna go to the interwebs.
Is there
here.
anything?
Gracefully, I missed the Denver
Yeah, I think
game. I was at
none of
work.
us. Yeah, it's Whitty here was hosting
Yeah,
a
blame
Christmas
me.
party.
No,
and
I
I
wasn't.
was
My
there.
wife was. If she would have asked me about the date, I would have said, "Can we do this another day because there's a Blazer game?"
Yeah,
Which
but you didn't
normally
wanna watch
just
this
gets
game
me a
anyways.
dirty look, and she does what she wants because I love you, honey.
Hey, she does what she wants, and I was there. We made the time. Got a babysitter. Went, enjoyed the party.
Yeah, it is
watched
leaning.
most of the game on my phone during there.
It is
Leaning.
it is leaning. I always want to call him kneeling.
Yeah, so it's
I think
leaning.
that's what I was calling it.
It's
I think
leaning,
I
not
had it flipped
kneeling.
around, too.
Yeah.
So it's arm resting on a thing.
Yeah.
not knee to the floor.
Yeah, but no.
Got
So during the Christmas party, the original plan was to, the wife, she's like, no, for the ambiance of the room, we're gonna Netflix has this thing where you get a fireplace and Christmas songs. So
For the
that's gonna
record,
be on the
I
TV.
do that a lot.
Yeah.
That is one of my
The Yule
favorite.
log?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite like background noise. Just stick it on in the room when we're hosting company things.
I don't like Christmas music, so if I can get it on mute, that's fantastic.
I'll do that too. Usually I'll mute it.
But which baffles me because I married the woman that's obsessed with Christmas. But anyway, so the plan was to have it on in the bedroom, and I was telling Brandon and Ryan, who all came and whatnot. The bedroom, it's the doors right next to the fridge, which is where there's the beer and the food. So I'm pretty sure at one point in time we'll make a play for the fridge, and we can all just wander in. So the game starts.
Almost happened.
We get it up and going, and my dear friend brought her 12 or 13-year-old daughter who got bored of playing with the younger children.
The 5 to 8 year olds.
Yeah, and which, I mean, you can understand.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, that'll do it.
But I told her to go run outside and play in traffic. Apparently that was bad advice on my part, but I figured she'd survive.
Not a great hosting move.
There's not much traffic by your house anymore.
No, there's not. It's Frogger level beginner.
Yeah. Really, it's, first level of Frogger, maybe.
And she used to live in the same apartment complex as me. She's used to that traffic pattern. That gives her an inside scoop. But anyways, her mom said, no, go ahead and put something on Netflix for her. Now, the caveat is that the daughter is a Blazer fan, so I tried to sell her on the game. Mom said no. Bad mom. You know who you are.
On the bright side, though, I have YouTube TV, so I was just watching on my phone, and so was
Also, on the bright
Brandon.
side, you didn't have to watch the Nuggets game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I probably
that was-
watched...
Because that was a train wreck.
I probably watched 15 minutes of game time. A couple minutes in the first quarter, a minute or two in the second, and a minute or two in the third, and then the better part of the end of the fourth, where I just sat there wanting to cry, drinking, holding the phone while I was going to get more beer and another beer while I continued to just stare at my phone and be antisocial because maybe we could pull... No, we're not going to pull it out. No, we never had a shot.
Yeah. Well, you never had a shot from the announcement of the starting lineups.
Yeah, Jake Lehman. We'll give him a hand.
Anybody see that one coming?
No.
I think...
Only in the sense that, sometimes coaches do that thing where they don't want to mess with their lineup.
Like, I get that, but I don't... Napier's been playing really well this year. I don't know how you don't just slot him in. Lehman is not a replacement for Lillard in any way, shape, or form, other than the first letter of their last names.
Yeah.
Alphabet win right there.
Oh, man.
But-
Alphabetically speaking, closest player to Dame.
I'm just picturing Stott sitting in his office looking at the ABCs that his daughter's plastered on the wall going, so L is out. Who is... Oh, there's another L. No, not that one. The short one. The short white one. Okay, we'll go with him. But, yeah, see, I feel as though my smart decision would have been to actually watch the full game that night because my house had a lot of beer. It had my Santa Claus Jell-O shots that I made. There was some sort of fruity...
Weren't you going to bring
Very
those?
nice.
Oh, yeah, they didn't survive.
Okay. Well, we've got other shots.
There was some sort of fruity concoction mixed with wine and vodka and strawberries that
fairly
my wife
weak.
made.
I mean, I had 7 of them, and they didn't do much to me.
No,
so.
she pulled it back because she's like, somebody's going to take this and say it's too strong. And I was like, and then those people can leave. But the strong, and then lots of beer. So the smart thing to do would have been to have watched the game while I was surrounded by all the alcohol, as opposed to what I did and watch it the next morning while nursing a hangover. You want to talk about
that's a death
that
spiral.
was a bad plan.
You want to talk about how to make that Nuggets game worse. You watch it while nursing a hangover.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of hangovers, the next night, the Blazers, after getting their butts kicked by a crappy middling team, the Denver Nuggets, went on to try and give away a game to less than middling team, the Los Angeles Lonzo Balls, LeVar Balls.
Los Angeles Big Baller Brands?
Yes.
Le Balls?
The
the LA Balls?
Lakers, I think is the word you're looking for.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Luckily, the Layman experiment died for the starting lineup.
Oh, yeah.
And Shabazz was properly inserted. We're going to give Stotts a tiny golf clap on that one, just right there.
Good job. Good job, Stotts.
Yeah.
Not all of your current coaching decisions are incoherent and ridiculous. That was a good one.
Only most of them.
Some of the shit you throw out the wall does stick.
But really, let's real quick have that pause. I mean, so I don't think any of us think Stotts is on the hot seat and going to get fired. Is that a thought? I mean, there's people who are of that opinion.
I think next offseason is going to be... I don't know that he's going to be on the hot seat, but I think they're going to start looking... I think Stotts and O'Shea are inching towards the hot seat.
If I'm going to give either one of them a hotter seat, it's going to go to O'Shea.
Yeah.
Because my argument is that Stotts can only do so much with what he has.
Mm-hmm.
And the players that have been in Stotts' system the longest, Dame and CJ, and actually, I think Connaughton falls into that as well.
Yeah, he's been here a few years.
Minu's been around a few years.
Aminu's been around a few years.
Ed Davis.
Ed Davis.
Bunley's
So all the
got a couple years.
all the
picking
players that are doing well in the system, and I know technically Harkless is a stretch. Obviously, we'll bounce back to the Lakers game, his hero moment. But, the players that have been around Stotts the longest have performed the best. But all the outside help that the general manager is supposed to go out and get for the team has not
Well,
been
and a
put-
lot of the inside folks we've hung on to have been hung on to at baffling price tags that no one else in the league would have matched.
Yeah.
Are you saying the Leonard contract is bad?
Yeah, I am. Though I should have won a 6-pack. I ended up.
I can warm up a seat for $8 million. That's $3 million in savings right there.
I'll do it for 7.
Don't you underbid me, you asshole.
There was a guy.
Technically, give me league minimum.
There was a guy I used to work with who, when the Leonard contract was coming up, he was like, "Oh, dude, that guy's gonna make like $3 million and barely be in the league next year." I said, "No, I guarantee you, someone somewhere in the NBA is going to get desperate. He's getting a $10 million a year contract from somebody with the way everything's going." Unfortunately, we're those idiots.
But in light of that, that's why I still think he's tradable, even though his contract is shit. I think that there's a lot of stupidity around in the NBA right now. I think we can pawn him off on somebody fairly easily.
Well, and that is why
I think he's an off-season trade. When he has
expiring contract.
Yeah, when he's an expiring contract, somebody will take
Is
the
next
bait.
year's contract year?
Yeah, it was a 3-year. I think it was, what was it, 3-year, $23 million?
It was
24?
4-year team option, I believe.
Oh, just the
Okay.
4th year's a team option?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was like 4 years, 30 mil, something like that.
No,
it's more than 10 million.
That's right, yeah.
He got a 4 and 41.
Okay.
I believe. Could be 41, could be 44. I always get confused between him and Harkless because they got similar deals.
Yeah, that's right, they did.
And in a related note, speaking of guys that maybe should be traded, Harkless added to some trade value during that Laker game.
Way to bring your stock right the heck up there, bud.
Oh, man, as soon as that game was over, that was the text I sent you and Kennedy. It was definitely there's some stock value raising. Heading into the new year,
So
getting closer
what do
to
you
trade
think?
deadline.
Leonard, Harkless, and Turner for Paul George?
Oh, what dreams may never come true.
I'm going to give that an emphatic no because why the hell are we going to trade for somebody that becomes an unrestricted free agent?
Because I'm an optimist, and I think we could convince George to stay. From everything that I've read, he actually enjoyed his time in Indiana, and Indiana's another kind of small market.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was they were losing and they sucked.
And the other problem is that Kevin Pritchard is going to be in the back of his head, and if he wants to call anybody to ask him how Portland is, that is probably going to be your first phone call.
Maybe.
No,
yeah.
Do you call the guy who traded you though?
Exactly.
The guy you didn't want to keep working for?
No, I'd absolutely take that risk on Paul George.
I would.
I think if we bring him in and he buys in and the system we start improving, I think you can talk him into like, a LeBron-esque, 1-and-1 deal, something like that. And I'd be okay with that.
I'm of the opinion that we could get him, and a deal like that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But in order to make it work mathematically, they would have to take on a crappy contract, and we
Turner
would, in
and
order
Leonard.
to, Turner or Leonard, and we would have to sweeten that deal somehow with somebody with potential.
Oh,
like maybe
like
G League
Harkless?
superstar Caleb Swanigan.
Okay. What if I don't know I don't know the CBA very well. We have a
We brought you in as our CBA
I
expert.
know.
I thought
That
you
was
had,
on
I
the
forged
resume.
those
I
I was going to
credentials.
ask you about Article 7, subsection B, line 42, in about like 10 minutes because I am so
damn.
confused by that.
it is a very confusing section. But no, in the Harkless trade, we ended up with an exception.
Yeah.
That
That I
long.
don't-
That long passed. That passed
Is it?
last year.
I thought we had
No.
one smaller one though. I don't think it was the Harkless one.
No,
There was something else that happened because we do still have one on the books.
I thought that
We have 4 exceptions on the books. The first one burns off in February, but I believe Harkless is burned off at the tail end of last year.
Okay, no. Sorry. Crab. When we traded Crab to the Nets.
Oh, we have the world's biggest exception, and
Exactly.
that stays in there until about August of next year.
And I don't know how that works. So I don't know how that applies to the money in a trade for
Basically,
PG.
it's like, so if you're trading for a $20 million a year player, and you take on and you like send them an $8 million a year player,
okay.
you get to throw them cash.
Okay.
Well, in the equivalent. So like if the guy's got 1 year left, that works. Otherwise, then break it down. If he's got 2 years left, you're only allowed to pull in $6 million
Okay, there you
per.
go.
So
Yeah.
I
It sounds nice if you can make somebody agree to a lopsided trade like that.
The Thunder got Paul George for Oladipo and somebody else. They didn't give a whole
yeah,
lot
trust
to get
me,
him.
that pissed us all off when
I
we
know, that
realized we
was-
could have given
that
him
was
2
absurd.
tacos and the lint from my
Well,
belly button.
Well, the problem with that was that we offered them a better trade deal, and that
Problem was Kevin Pritchard.
yeah, Kevin Pritchard, he ain't making any deals with Portland ever. As long as Paul Allen's name is on the deed, nope. And
But
any other-
outside of the Harkless thing, so what did everybody think when they saw that that lineup that was staying out there in the fourth quarter for that Lakers game? Because we were all kind of like in the back of our heads, we're like, all right, so the starters have been playing like crap. These guys are doing all right. But are they seriously going to close this out?
and they just kept staying out there, and we just kept
I missed
competing.
that game again. I was at work. What was the lineup? I
No,
know.
so-
I know it was Collins.
So the tail end of that game, it was CJ, Shabazz, Collins,
Harkless.
Connaughton, and Harkless.
That's a weird lineup.
That is what you
It
see
is-
in a 20-point win or a 20-point
Yeah, that's a weird.
loss.
Not a 2-point game or 1
No.
point game.
And that said, those guys played like champs. Like they rose to the occasion.
Collins,
Mind you, it was
I'm-
against the LA Lakers.
Collins, I can't remember if he picked up his first or second foul with only like 4 minutes remaining in the game, but that in and of itself deserves that man. There you go.
Yeah,
bud.
yeah.
Cheers,
There
Mr.
you go.
Collins. I will also say Collins continues to grow and develop as a player,
But not
And-
his arms. so.
not yet.
Yeah, we'll give him the offseason for that. But I'm super high on Collins right now.
Yeah, I am very happy with how he's developed, especially because, I mean, mind you, what a difference a few months of actual season play affects all of us. Because
Oh, yeah.
when we were doing the preseason ratings, none of us were high on Collins.
I was expecting Swanigan to be more NBA.
I'm
ready.
sorry,
Yeah.
pronunciation?
Swanigan.
Swanigan?
Oh my.
Swedigan.
Swedigan.
He is a great Brandon fill-in.
Oh man,
He does this
miss you,
solidly.
Brandon. Brandon, I miss you. Yeah. By the way, any thoughts? Swanigan, G League.
I'm down with it. He needs more playing time.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the movie Gigli, so I'm not. Oh no, the G League. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm
G League registered trademark.
You can leave. No, not really.
I was not a fan of him sitting on the tail end of the bench and whittling away. That is the
Yeah.
spot that Myers Leonard and Jake Layman need to go.
And honestly, that man does not look nearly as good in a suit as Damian Lillard without a dress shirt.
Side note: we almost changed our dress code for this show and this show only.
Yeah,
I have the chest tats. I could have
man.
pulled that
Wow,
off.
because that was the only reason we didn't. We just have the chest hair that he doesn't
Ah,
have.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, see, we were
See, I'm
definitely
hairless,
having
but I have the tattoos.
we were having the conversation Sunday, I believe, about no blazer garb on Tuesday. We're all just gonna wear blazers
deepest of
and
V's.
just blazers and vests with no shirt.
I like it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Get some gold
I
chains.
thought that look was way better than anything Russell Westbrook has ever worn to a post game conference.
I want to
I
know how
don't
much
know that I
Russell
agree.
Westbrook's stylist / outfit picker makes,
'Cause
and
it's
I
too
will
much.
do that for $50,000 less a year.
I'll do it for 75 less.
Oh man, you're just undercutting him, man.
I
market
don't
at
have
work,
any
baby.
words to respond. But I will do a
Oh,
10
wow.
times better job because regardless of what my wife says, I can pick out colors that will match.
Hey, clashing colors. They're sometimes in, kind of, sorta, give or take.
Yeah.
If you're my 7-year-old daughter,
Or Zach Morris.
that was the entire crew.
Yeah, that's right. And it's coming back around. Saved by the Bell. Yeah, there's a new class. It's Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard.
Oh God.
And on that note, all right, what else you got for us? Are we all the way up to the shot of the week already? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we kind of browsed over was the power rankings, but I mean, we don't really need to give much time on that because, hey, we're back in our comfy, warm seat of being 14 again.
Hey, here we
That's
are.
what a 0-6 home losing streak will do for you.
Yeah, you know, we jumped up to 8. We got to hang out with the big boys for a week. They didn't want us back at their party, and so, you know, we're back against the wall.
That's about right. Yeah.
Staring at all the pretty girls over there going, oh,
I want to
hi.
dance.
She's got parts.
That is a lot more awkward than the end of Stranger Things.
Still,
Spoiler
Don't
alert.
Don't spoil season 2. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't
Well, I
watched
just
any
did.
of
So there you
season
go.
one.
Oh, no.
How am I?
You haven't watched season 1 yet?
I haven't watched any
Wow.
of Stranger Things, and I gave up on House of Cards halfway through
Oh.
season 2.
Oh, that's
I-
fine.
yeah.
Season 2 of House of Cards was
I actually
not
didn't
good.
even make
Okay,
it all the
because
way
I
through
also gave up
season
on
one.
Breaking Bad at or midway through season 3.
Cut his mic.
Yeah. Breaking Bad.
You got to watch Westworld. Have you tried Westworld?
What's
Oh.
Westworld?
HBO series. Anthony Hopkins, Ed Harris.
It is.
I can probably find it online.
It's so
It is
good.
robot.
It's-
Listen. It'll be no different than the YouTube TV thing where I let you be part of my family. You can join my HBO family too.
Okay.
You'll appreciate it.
Today
It's,
I-
it's
Westworld
cowboy
is
robots.
Okay.
Cowboy robots that kill a lot of people and have a lot of sex.
Ooh. Now that I'm finally done with watching or being caught up on Dragon Ball Super episodes, I do have a gaping hole in my TV schedule. You leave my anime fascination alone.
I can't really judge. I honestly can't.
If
I
we
can't
if we
judge.
could pan the camera. Okay, fine. Here's my redeeming thing. Did anybody watch Doctor Who's newest Christmas special?
Nope.
I've never seen a single episode of Doctor
I have
Who.
never-
I'm okay with
Fucking
it.
Mike.
I have never completed a single episode of Doctor Who.
Yes, there we go.
I have tried a few times
Are you heathen?
to no success.
God, Doctor Who is fantastic. All right, we're gonna move on because this is probably needed after I just heard that sentence. Shot of the week.
Shot of the week. That's our sounder.
Shot. Anyway,
Of the
so
week.
so this shot of the week, I think it kind of goes without saying, because every other game was shit. It's gonna be pulled from the Lakers game, and who did we all decide was the hero of the Lakers game?
It had to be Mo Harkless.
Oh man, Jake Lehman, right? Okay, Mo Harkless.
There we go. Well, yes, we'll give it
Can I
to
snag
him.
your bottle opener?
No, you
Awkward timing there. Little radio dead air while we pass that bottle
Hey,
opener.
no attention,
Drink a little
Mo.
more alcohol.
Yeah. So, no, we're giving it to Mo Harkless, and we're coming in at the tail end of that Lakers game. Just under 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Blazers are down by 1. Need a miracle. And Mr. Miracle showed up. And so we come in. We got CJ doing a little bit of work. Bricks his shot. Harkless fights for the rebound. Goes up hard. Gets the and one. And I love it that he wanders off while doing the flex and the chest bump with
Hit-
Zach
yeah.
Collins. I'm surprised Collins didn't fall down with that. I thought for sure.
Collins is a bigger man than you give him credit for.
If that was Ed Davis that was chest bumping Collins, he would have been halfway across the floor.
You know, Ed Davis is a beast.
Yeah.
Ed Davis is one of the most underrated men in the
Playing
world.
this out. I don't got my chaser. Oh, screw. No, it's
No.
rum. I need my chaser.
Oh,
Rum is not my friend.
and there we go. Oh, hey, there's one of my Rolling Rocks. Thank you for drinking that.
You know, I've seen him in there
That was
for
a
the
twist off. You didn't have to do that.
Oh,
We like the noise.
Oh, okay. Is that it?
We like the noise.
that is a bottle popped.
Once Adam Bjarnson was in here and he already claimed that the noise was cool. He said you guys need to do this more often.
Just a little ring a ding.
You know, Brandon will
cap.
eventually pull that soundbite and put it in somewhere. But anyways, so to Mo Harkless and your go-ahead bucket, and your
Go ahead and one.
yes, and
Yeah.
your
And-
increasing your trade bait and all that fun stuff.
And leading to the only victory of the week.
Yes,
Go Blazers.
we thank you. Oh God, I'm having
Mahoy.
having flashbacks.
Little
to being,
Captain Morgan there.
I'm having flashbacks to being 17.
Ooh.
Although I will give Captain Morgan a couple steps up above the stuff that I'm used to.
I gotta say, I mean, that one kind of got all of us a little bit tough in the throat. I mean, it was no Brandon reaction for any of us, but I think we all got hit a little harder than
We'd
average.
still be making faces if one of us was going to go Brandon reaction. But no, have I ever told you guys what my drink of choice was when I started underage drinking at 17 or 18?
Did I ever tell you that I didn't have a drop of alcohol till I was 26?
How?
Wasn't that the year we met? No.
Just before, a little bit before,
Okay, because I was gonna say that explains a
like
lot.
3 years, 4 years before. Anyway,
No,
I'm old.
we all are. But no, 151 straight.
Why would you do such a thing?
So
That's when you love the effects.
yeah.
Ugh.
That's
I didn't know better. I was a wee little lad.
it's drinking with a purpose.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
not
when you're
drinking
17,
for
you
the
don't know what you're
joy.
No, and my when I was 19, a good friend of mine at the time had his 21st birthday at his apartment, and he did a 21 shot pyramid, and all 21 shots were filled with nothing but 151. No mixers. The only chaser was Keystone Light, I believe, because they were having a sale, and so he picked up like 8 of those cases.
I'm getting sick just thinking about
Yeah,
this.
and me and him were the only ones that did any of that pyramid. I think I claimed 10 of them. He claimed 11 of them. 3 days later, we woke up in an alley somewhere.
And that is why
I had pants on. It's fine.
That's why I only drink hipster high volume alcohol.
yeah.
Give me a stout. Give me an IPA.
Something named
Give me a
Sprinkles.
lager. Sprinkles. I did have some sprinkles last week.
Yeah. So before we get into the recaps, or not recaps, sorry, we already did that. God, rum. I blame the rum.
It's already going.
You're also sitting in the wrong spot, so it's all just.
Yeah, you're out of
I know.
position.
If any of my audio sounds off, it's because I'm used to just leaning on the table over there by the end of it and just screaming into the mic. Now I actually have to physically work for my thoughts. But before we get into previewing next week's games, there we go. Just a couple things that I wanted to run by you guys. Anybody besides our old tickers having a problem with all the close games lately?
Just the fact that we aren't winning them.
Yeah.
I mean, a few years ago when we were winning a bunch of close games and we had a negative point differential with a positive record, I was okay with that. Just, hey, getting blown out or barely winning, but we're winning more than we're losing. Win's a win.
You know
Right.
that we're sitting we're sitting at 500 for close games. In games decided by 3 points or fewer, there's been 10 of those games for the Blazers. Out of their 33, they've won 5. So straight up 500 there.
I got no issue with close games.
Yeah.
I mean,
Honestly, it's the most and least fun I'm going to have at the end of a basketball game.
Yeah.
I'll take a close loss over a blowout every day of the week.
Yeah.
I mean,
So the one thing that kind of struck me is, any of you guys spend Christmas Day watching any of the NBA games?
I watched a few. I
I
watched
caught part of the Wizards and
I watched
Celtics.
the first 2.
I watched everything but the Lakers game because I was too lazy to get up and find the remote and change it to TNT.
Okay.
So I stayed on ABC the whole time. I watched the full slate, and having watched the Thunder Rockets game and
I don't even who won that one. Thunder Rockets.
Thunder
did. Okay.
yeah, the Rockets dropped their 3rd straight loss. But like the Boston game, that was Boston Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
No,
Cleveland
Boston
Wizards.
Wizards.
Who'd Boston,
Cleveland
Boston
Warriors.
Wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the Boston Wizards, but watching those, it's part of me was sitting there and going like, why can't the Blazers play this style? Why can't they get up and this kind of whatever? But then I realized that we've seen the Blazers play a couple of these teams, and these teams don't play like that when they play against the Blazers. Do you think that bodes into anything of like their defense, or do you have the Blazers finally become a team that can kind of control the tempo of a game?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they started out the season with some surprisingly good defense, but that has slipped as we've.
They're still
gotten-
in top 10.
Are they really?
Yeah, I
That's-
believe
that's
they're
shocking.
currently 6th.
It's frightening to me because I feel like, and maybe it's just the eyeball test, I feel like the defense is awful. But
Yeah.
statistically speaking, we just keep holding people down on their points
Which
per
is weird
possession.
because usually the problem is the defense. Portland never has a problem with offense.
No,
historically.
I made that clip last week or the week before about how many people would have thought that we'd be going, can the defense keep us winning games? When is our offense going to click? None of us ever thought we'd fucking say that.
Yeah.
No, that is the surprise of the season. That and Zach Collins being pretty good. I would throw that up there. Shabazz Napier being great. Those are probably all of my surprises
My
of the
best
season so far.
proclamation ever.
You
So,
take a lot of pride in that.
Tying in the issues with offense back into Olshey and Stotts, I think the problem with the offense is that we don't have an all-star caliber forward at either at power or small forward. And I think Stotts, it's a holdover from Stotts because he came from the Mavericks. He was the offensive coach there, and his system worked great when we had LA, when we had a big mobile
Dirk
shooting.
Nowitzki-esque.
Exactly. And I like Stotts. I wonder if his offensive schemes are so predicated on having a big mobile shooting forward or center type that without it, he just has trouble game
I think
planning.
it helps, but I don't think so.
The
Because
big-
last year without it, we were still rocking on the offense.
And
But what I would say is,
People caught up to what we're doing now.
and I would also make the argument that the guys that we have right now, as far as staff, team members or whatever, I think Olshay's just gotten really good at overvaluing what we already have. That whole, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush thing.
Yeah.
I think he has some version of that on an inspirational poster on his wall.
well,
Because, let's not lie, CJ McCollum is good. And a lot of people,
not an
Bill
all-star.
Simmons thinks
He's not
he's
an
the best
all-star.
player on the Blazers.
no.
He's
Go
wrong,
look
but
at-
he thinks
Go
it.
look at the only knock I have against CJ is his turnover numbers because he, outside of Evan Turner, is the only other person on the Blazers roster who over dribbles way more than he needs to.
Well, he has some pretty bad passes, usually one or two a game,
but
that are just awful.
CJ has infinitely better handles than Turner. So
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
grant him that.
well, he's shorter, so
Yeah.
it's a lot closer dribble.
Yeah, and his footwork is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
The-
all of that to say, we overvalue just about everybody that we've got right now. Our team is literally overvalued across the board by the folks on the inside of the team. They don't want to get rid of or lose people we've put the investment into. And
That was
realistically,
why we matched the Crab contract.
Yeah.
I still actually do stand by the Crab contract.
I don't think it was a bad choice, but that's why we did
I think yes, but I think it was brought down by the other shitty contracts of that year.
Absolutely.
I actually disagree. Crab kind of proved himself
Thank God,
to be
we
mediocre.
all can't constantly agree on things. It'd be a
No.
boring ass show.
Well, yeah, except, we are a bunch of suburbanite white guys. So there's that.
So's Jake Lehman.
And you're not helping our case.
Anyways, so no, in regards to, I have 2 points to make about that. It'll be telling this offseason on if you guys sounded like you were placing a lot of blame on Olshey. I kind of do myself, but it'll be telling to all of us fans. If Stotts is fired before Olshey, that means that
I think that would be a mistake. I'd lose Olshey first.
And I agree, but to me, that would say that all the crappy contracts, all the two in the hand worth, or whatever the hell
that wasn't actually the problem.
that wasn't coming from Olshey, but that was coming from Paul Allen.
Maybe. But here's what I will grant. Well, first of all, Paul Allen, he's got a really up and down record as an owner. But what I will
Do you
say
think
is,
he's faring right now
just
with both his teams playing like shit?
well, what I would say is, no, I don't have the numbers, but I've heard it. I've heard the reports. It's been a couple years, but the average life of a head coach is a couple years shorter than the average life of a GM. Because most GMs can extend their life as a executive by saying, well, the problem is I got this guy good pieces, and he just isn't doing anything with them. He's doing it wrong. And the GM, who's the boss of the head coach, can get that guy fired, replaced.
Yeah.
And
Shit
then
rolls downhill.
Yep, and exactly. And if that's the case, at least
It's a
buy
slow
himself
walk
a
back up
couple
the hill.
extra years.
Yeah.
And then when it turns out the next coach sucks too, if you can't get him fired and save his job again, then that's when he gets fired. And that's when you end up with Rich Cho.
Yeah. So the second part about that topic, that it's something we haven't been able to see. So everybody's been downing on Mo Harkless. Why is he having such a bad year? I want to go back to last year's lineup. I want to see that run out there again. I want to see Dame, CJ, Harkless, Aminu, and Nurk. When was the last time we saw that starting lineup? It's been since the very beginning.
Starting lineup?
As a start?
It's been since the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah. I
And
can't
so
remember last
right
time I
now
saw
we're
that.
talking about offensive woes and all that, but we had Aminu's injury. You plug and play a couple players. We've had guys in and out of games, but we haven't ever gone back to what we saw at the tail end of last year and the beginning of this year. Things that have proven to be good. Why not throw that shit back at the wall and see what sticks?
And I would say that's actually been my biggest gripe with Stotts, and where I think Stotts, if there's an argument that the Fire Stotts people have right now, It's that guy is trying everything
He's a little
except the stuff that's
schizophrenic with his
worked.
lineups.
Well, he needs to stop
And
trying
even
Turner.
then, the stuff that's worked doesn't always work.
The problem that I don't know that just going back to last year's lineup is going to necessarily do a lot, because I think what part of the success last year was that Nurk was a brand new piece and people didn't know how to game plan for it. And I hate to say it because I was so up on Nurk at the end of last year, but I feel
You
like
and
what
everyone.
happened was what was going on there was a bit of a mirage effect.
Yeah.
And he's not
It's the small sample size.
exactly. Yeah.
No, so my thing is if Aminu can maintain, and this is the world's strongest stretch on this statement, maintain his 3-point shooting, maintain his offensive production, you got to pick out the one weak link in the lineup, and you need cutters. You need guys who can move off the ball. If you're going to use Aminu out on the 3-point line, Nurk has not necessarily proved himself from distance. I think outside
No.
15
Oh,
feet,
no.
he is.
No.
Oh, side note, we saw another Nurk 3.
There was?
Yes,
Wait,
there
did
was.
he actually hit it, though?
No, he missed it.
I was going to say.
And I believe that
Doing
was
some long twos in the Spurs game.
Oh, man, a missed Nurk 3.
Oh no, that was during the Lakers game.
Oh, okay.
The missed Nurk 3. So
That
we're
must have been in the part
So
that
we're
I
still
missed.
getting the once a month he'll take a 3. But so outside of 15 feet, Nurk's not going to be a threat. So if you're going to run Aminu out there, you need somebody who can better cut to the basket. Does Turner strike either of you guys as a cut to the basket kind of guy? Because he's not.
He can, but I don't think that's his game.
Exactly.
I think
That's asking
Harkless that's more his game.
And so that's why I'm making my proclamation for can we get Harkless back in the starting lineup now that Aminu is healthy?
he's been buried on the bench for like the past month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, he's probably come to some odds with Terry Stotts. And I
That's
think
possible.
that's probably he's not wanting to play Terry's game. That's just, I mean, body language reading is, and Stott's decision-making reading. So that just tells me, maybe they're having some issues, and maybe a trade's best for all parties involved.
I really want to see a
agree
trade
that
this season.
trading Turner would be better for Mo Harkless.
The question is, how does Harkless play with Paul George?
Well, let's not lie. He's part of the trade bait we'd be dangling for Paul George. We'd lose him, and we'd probably lose Collins or Swanigan.
Also, during the Spurs game, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about our lack of anybody solid at the power forward spot or even the small forward. Would you take Aldridge back?
Fuck no.
No.
Oh.
Okay. You? Ryan?
I won't.
You wouldn't?
Well, let me rephrase that. I would.
For basketball reasons or other?
I just don't think.
All the reasons.
I think
All
the
the
motor
reasons?
reasons are the big thing with Aldridge. I mean,
I
I
would
have
take
a
the-
hard time believing he cares, and I had that problem while he was with us.
I think a couple of years under the tutelage of Pop has maybe done
No,
something.
he's the
No.
pretty girl from a small town that moved to L.A. and found out she's not hot shit. That is Aldridge. And now he wants to move back to the small town. Not saying that we've heard any Aldridge trade bait or thing, but in this scenario, wants to go back to the small town because that's where life was simple.
Now, that said, he has turned it around in the last month. He actually played
Yeah.
really crappy most of last season and for the better part of the first quarter, half of the season right here.
I think it was towards the beginning of the season. There were some quotes that came out from Pop that said basically he said I didn't do a good enough job adapting my coaching
Nah,
to
that was
LA's game.
less than a month ago.
Yeah.
It's only been since they've kind of turned things around in the last month or so working together.
Yeah. So are you asking this based off his quote where after the Spurs game he actually said that playing in the Moda Center, Rose Garden,
Yeah, it's all, Rose Garden forever.
will always feel like home to him? It always
that's
feels
the first
always
time I've heard
feels
that.
like his home court.
Was
That's
he-
the first time I've
By
heard
the way,
that quote.
I didn't
but
hear him get booed. Was
No,
there-
he still gets booed.
got
Okay,
all the
I
boos.
didn't
that
hear it.
pisses me off. I hate the booze for LA.
Yeah, they are reserved for Raymond Felton and Raymond Felton only. You
He-
bring a
um,
donut to the
hold
game.
Raymond
on,
Felton gets booed
hold on.
every
There's
time he
a
touches the
longer
ball,
list
and it
than
makes me
Raymond
so
Felton.
happy.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm booing at home if I'm if I'm at home and there's Felton. But I'll throw a couple other names on the list of guys I'll always boo. Hito Turkoglu.
Turkey glue, yeah.
Yeah,
He's not even
always.
in the league
No,
anymore,
we've
is he?
had this discussion, but none of us can remember.
I think he's actually.
I was
still
thinking
in
about
the
him the
league.
other when we were.
I
What?
think he's still in. Is he in Orlando still?
I'll find out.
Pulling up the stats
I'll
here.
find out.
Let's see who else makes that. I mean, Felton's the king of guys that should
Hasn't
get
been in
booed.
the league since 2015.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, wow, he missed out last season too. I also still boo, and maybe it's just me personally. Trevor Ariza.
Why?
Why not?
Well,
Do
first of all,
you remember his career as a Laker?
No, I don't.
Do you remember?
Implying I pay attention.
Do you
to the
remember
Lakers.
the worst flagrant foul of his career that may have set Rudy Fernandez on a downward trajectory?
Oh my, that's right.
And that literally caused an injury, slowed him down, stopped him from being a guy who also cut and turned him into literally only a 3-point spot-up shooter.
Turkoglu's retired from the league. And
Good.
International basketball.
Good riddance. Bye, Hito. We didn't even want you here in Portland anyway. Actually, that's true. I didn't. When I kept hearing those
Not
rumors...
all the people that showed up to the airport that said, "Welcome, Hito, we love
Oh,
you."
dude. When I heard those rumors, I was like, God, no, don't do it. It's a guy who sucked all the way until the playoffs and played 12 successful
Side note,
games.
do you remember when we were going to overpay him massively by giving him $15 million a year for 3 years?
First of
In
all...
what year? Oh my
well,
gosh.
salary cap was a little different. That was 6
Yeah.
years ago.
That's
That
when
was-
Dame's salary was the salary
Oh
cap.
man.
Yeah, that's changed a bit, but also, I'm actually thankful for him because by him turning us down, he got one of my all-time favorite workhorse Blazers to show up,
Thank you,
Andre Miller. Yeah,
Ah, yeah.
Andre Miller and Marcus Camby are two guys who I will always think fondly of for their time
When
in
I
Portland.
think Andre Miller, I think his leveling of Blake Griffin, the foul.
Oh yeah,
Because he got suspended the next game for that, and
Yeah.
it broke
that broke
his
his streak.
Exactly.
oh,
Yo,
you know
but
my
that was
favorite,
fantastic.
my
No.
favorite Andre Miller. If we're going down that path,
Is it the same as
it's probably the same as yours.
timeout?
Fake timeout.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which
when
he
I
did twice,
die,
and he did
when I
once
die,
after he
I
left.
want that on repeat and like a projector background over my service.
That needs to be. I mean,
I
feel
I
like
want
that
it
should
looped
be
with
a
the-
GIF that shows back up on Reddit r/NBA like once every month or two.
I want Andre Miller fake timeout and the 0.9 second shot back to back, just loop. Because that's just going to encompass all the emotions of my life. And if people are crying at my funeral, I know you will be crying for the 0.9 seconds.
There's also actually one other Andre Miller move that's probably among my all-time favorites. It was a regular season game when things were starting to heat up in the spring. One year, and we were down against the Spurs by
Oh,
one.
yes.
was
that
at
was
that game.
That was March 25th. That was my birthday. I remember watching that game
I
live.
was at that game, and I almost got pushed off the 300 level balcony by people cheering behind me.
Because
I
he
had front
lobs
row.
it to Batum and he just guides it
Yeah.
in.
Oh, they're like barely tapped it so that it was
Because
just
there was like
perfect.
0.3 on this.
barely
There was like
careened in.
0.3 or 0.4 left on the shot
It was
clock.
that I actually didn't even watch that game. I was at that time volunteering doing a youth retreat for a friend who's a youth pastor and just hanging out with kids, and I kept seeing social media freak out while I was running the slideshow from the laptop and not actually paying attention to what my friend was
right
saying.
over other
Tony
Frenchman,
Parker.
Tony Parker.
French on French violence.
Side note, I'm
Oh.
the one that took that picture. No, I'm not.
Lies.
No, I'm
anyway,
not.
but that said, that was a beautiful moment. So anyhow, we've devolved a lot tonight, guys. Is there anything else left on this special Christmas edition of the BlazerTag podcast?
Let's see. Blah, blah,
What
blah,
games
blah,
do we have
blah,
coming up
blah,
this
blah,
week?
blah.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the important stuff.
Yeah.
So
76ers,
Yeah, so
Atlanta Hawks.
We got the Sixers,
Chicago Bulls.
Hawks, and you lumped in the Bulls as well. Nice job, kind sir.
Are those all, is that on Monday?
That's on a Monday.
Oh yeah, I'll count that.
Yeah. So
I'll get to watch one of those.
You know what?
So-
Let's just go Sixers and Hawks. Let's use those two games, using those two for the two-man beer bet. Mr. Whitty, what do you got for me? What do you think?
I got nothing. I'm horrible at this.
Oh, okay. So I'll let you make the first pick,
All right.
and I will come up with the bet off the top.
Are you going?
All right, 76ers and Hawks.
As he glances back at his sheet, he offered me to pick, and then he's just like, "Oh, you can't do it." And by the way,
And I glance at my sheet to see, wait, what were the first two games again? Because I am very professional. 76ers and Atlanta Hawks. Out of those two games, which one do the Blazers win by the most or lose by the least? So I'll give
can I
that
make
to
a
you.
variation
Win by
on
the-
that? Can I make a variation on that just to throw it out there, and we can vote by committee here to shut it down. But can we say which game nets the higher combined point total?
Oh, okay.
That's not one we've ventured
So highest
into.
scoring game out of the two for both teams.
I'm not in this, but I'm going to say the 76ers.
See, normally we're not allowed to do like, hey, so pick this or pick the other because
Yeah.
there's three of us. This is the one time
Yeah.
that we can go in either
There you
or.
go.
So okay, so highest scoring game.
Out of the two of them.
Out of the Blazers,
You know what?
versus
Yeah,
The easy
76ers.
pick there is the 76ers.
I would say
Yeah.
probably.
Is Embiid playing though?
Yes.
He was out for like a week or something like that.
No, he came back. He just had the highest scoring Christmas game of a Sixer ever.
Oh man.
He's or something like that, some weird stat. But I'm gonna paint you in the corner, and I'm gonna go 76ers game.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to take the Bulls then. Oh, wait. It's the Hawk game. All right.
Technically, you could have left that wide open, but I hadn't thrown out my option yet. So
So what do you guys think we go this week?
So
Two and
it's
one?
2 games.
1 and 2?
Well, I guess we're including all 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, and we'll be recording during that Bulls game next week. Out of those 3 games,
are we gonna make the mistake of trying to watch a game before we record again?
Yeah, do
depends
the
on
live
the
stream.
time.
That was fun.
Is that one in Chicago or is that in Portland?
That's in Chicago, so that is
So that'll
probably a 4 o'clock.
If that's a 4 o'clock game, we may have to watch that before we record. If it's
and you will get us sad sacks again.
oh man, no, I don't know. The Chicago Bulls haven't exactly been a picture of consistency this season,
That's an understatement.
so I think we might be able to steal that one.
It's
So out of
the
the 3
understatements
games,
of all understatements.
I know I feel like 2 out of 3 is a pretty reasonable thing to have happen this week. Ryan, where do you think we're gonna land?
What'd you say, 2?
I think 2 out of 3. I mean, we're not betting on this.
You
This
know
is
what?
just gut feeling.
That's fine. I gotta go with my juju that I have. So last time I doomed the Blazers by giving them 1 win.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give them 1 win again and hope for the fucking best.
touche. Aaron, what do you think?
If we don't beat the Bulls, look for the ropes to come out for the hangings.
man.
The Bulls should be a win.
Actually, based off Blazers' track record, in that case, they would win against 76ers, they would win against the Hawks, and lose against the Bulls.
That might be the
That-
most Blazers thing.
That is a very Blazer thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Wins against the Sixers and the Hawks, and then you lose to the Bulls. That would be the most
All right.
most Blazer-esque outcome of the week.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I believe that covers our show for this week. Big thanks to all of you for listening. If you've got a question for us, want us to answer it, you can send it to the email that I never get right, which is, I believe, podcast@blazertagpodcast.com. Did I get it right, Whitty?
I don't know. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, he's got to look it up. It's
Just
podcast.
want to say thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, Aaron,
No,
thank
had a
you.
ton of fun.
Did you say podcast@blazertagpodcast.com?
Yeah.
Wow, you deserve a tiny clap.
Oh
as well.
man. Or you
It
can.
only took him 27 and a
I
half
wanted
shows
to.
or whatever.
I always want it to be a Gmail. Anyway, that said,
that's fine.
you can also hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, send us anything in there. We'll actually respond to your content, your questions,
Because we're bored and have nothing
or for
else
that
to do.
matter, you can dare us to do things during the show, and we'll
That
make
is- no,
we'll
no,
make
no.
Whitty do it.
No.
Oh,
no.
that sounds like a plan.
No, because after this show, he becomes a listener again, and he is totally going to be doing that. He's just throwing things out there.
Hey, I
I
believe
would never
in
do
it.
such a thing.
I saw the twinkle in your eye.
Oh
when you
man,
said it.
dreams come true.
And also, so tomorrow we will be having a slight planning meeting, and we will be having an announcement about when we have our Rock Bottom Brewery event that we have been teasing for the better part of forever.
We'll at some point, probably somewhere January, February, we'll be doing a get together for those of you listening, where we can all enjoy a game, drink some beer. We'll
Might
hopefully
be
able to.
prizes, discounts, and mild nudity.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We're hoping to get some special
Get to
guests
see
there.
BlazerTag podcast in the flesh.
Oh man, so fleshy.
So we're going to Casa Diablo then, right? You guys are going to get up on stage?
Well, it's Rock Bottom Brewery.
Yes.
Rock Bottom Brewery is the official, our most official sponsor we've ever had. By
It's
that,
the closest we come to sponsorship,
They're the only people who let you say their name on,
Yeah.
on air.
basically,
and give us free things for it.
Oh,
Yes.
even better.
Dreams do come true with that. Hell of a night. Great people. Anyway, all right. Well, until next time, go Blazers.
Adios, folks. Go Blazers.
Blazers.